All right, so because it is election fever time, just more talk of Kamala and the Donald is similar-ish, overlapping segments, but I also wanted to talk about it. It's the current thing at the moment.
It is,
right?
but it's good.
It's getting closer and closer. What is it? Just about a week out now.
Something like that, yeah.
Not too far away.
2 weeks, something.
So it looks like the data seems to show that Kamala isn't all that popular with the male demographic,
Really?
or the white male demographic, the young white male demographic.
Are you sure?
It seems to point that way. Could be incorrect. Could be wrong. But it looks like just young men are just not interested in her or in the party at all.
Why would they be? The Democrats are like, we hate straight white men. Straight white men are the problem of everything, just the problem perennially through all of time.
Americanness, whiteness.
Founding
is the
fathers,
problem.
white men, hate them.
Yeah.
Like, definitely don't like them. Why would white men not want to be part of this party?
Rip down their statues, including someone like Jefferson or Lincoln even.
Yeah. The burning head of Robert E. Lee.
Get rid of it.
So it's just gone.
Get rid of it. But we do want your vote, though. We are going to need that vote, though.
Also, we're going to replace you with women of colour in every position.
At every possible juncture.
Yeah.
So here's one particular stat.
Jesus. It's pretty bad.
Young men leaving the Democratic Party.
They've gone from over half to nearly a third of young men in Democrats.
Quite quickly, since Trump. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether it's naivety or just pure stupidity when you know you're burning your bridges, right? When you demonise whole swathes of the population.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is going to happen. Obviously.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
It's great. Yeah, it's good.
Is that why Trump was playing YMCA at a rally to young men, to build young men?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
If you're a Zoomer man, I mean, where are you going?
Yeah.
So it's a crying shame. You hate to see it, right?
Yeah.
That people don't really want to join the Democratic Party when it's not for them. Even when it was sort of, even when, was it back in just before 2016 or no, just before 2020 when it could have been Bernie.
Yes.
Remember when they rigged it to stop Bernie getting it,
and
they gave us Sleepy Joe instead. Even then, even at that period, I failed to see why any man, particularly a young man, particularly a young white man, would want to have anything to do with the Democratic Party. Even then,
there's no need to feel down.
Yeah, no.
I mean, ancestral guilt would be the. And maybe, actually, hang on. So with someone like Bernie, you can argue that the young sort of millennial and presumably probably too early for the Zoomers, but the young white men in America who are dispositionally left wing might have felt powerless, and Bernie's like, look, I'm going to socialism you into having a house and a job and whatever else, the nice things you want. Socialism will work this time, bro, trust me. And so you're like, yeah, no, the magic grandpa's going to give me the things I want, therefore I'll join the Democrats and vote for him.
I think of it as a bad couple, because you could say that some men may put up with some attitude, and they get guilt shamed. It's like Norbit.
Yeah, there's
the movie. Yeah,
there's going to be
they're constantly poking them. You have how was the character Eddie Murphy was playing of Rasputia? Yeah, the Democrat Party is like Rasputia to men, and men are Norbit. At some point, they're going to say no. Just stop guilt shaming us.
But the positive case, I think, would be the sort of like low status, weak beta type men who the magic grandpa is going to give them a bunch of things through the magic of socialism, and therefore I can see why some of them would join the Democrat Party on that ground.
Yeah, like that type, that demographic. Also, I think there's people that they think they know about history and politics, but have just been completely hoodwinked. I mean, Russell Brand, for example, was a big fan of Bernie Sanders, wasn't he?
Bernie Sanders was a big fan of the Soviet Union, wasn't he?
So he lived there for a while, didn't he?
He did. We went on holiday there.
Suspicious.
He went on his
honeymoon?
It was his honeymoon, yeah.
That's weird. During the actual Soviet period,
it's really weird. But anyway.
So it looks like the young men are leaving in droves. If you go to the next link, in Georgia, particularly, which is one of the swing states,
it is.
It looks like support among men is tanking.
Well, they don't want to be berated by Kamala Harris. Weird.
She's just unlikable, isn't it?
I mean, yeah. When she's like screeching at the podium like she was doing the other day, I'm just like, oh god, who's voting for 4 years of that?
You can talk about her shtick of appearing dumb and the word salad, whether that's legit or not. You can talk about her inability to sort of understand policy or the world. Okay, we can talk about that. We can debate that. But at face value, she's annoying.
Yes.
And obnoxious, and the cackling thing is terrible.
She doesn't seem very serious, and then when she does try to be serious, she seems overbearing, and it's just like, oh god.
Unless you're a full-blown partisan, i.e. you'll vote Democrat whatever happens, or if you identify with her, if you are a sort of middle-aged woman of colour, filled with resentment or something, you hate America, something.
There's going to be a lot of
then
middle-aged white women who want abortions who identify with.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
I just need the right to kill my children.
I'm not sure if they're big enough voting blocks to sort of win the White House.
Well, it's
hoping not.
The indications are not positive.
Well, the men of Georgia don't seem particularly up for it. So you can only assume the inverse is true, that 7 out of 10 are more likely to vote Trump or something like that.
It's going to be sort of 10% who was just like, nah, it's not bothering.
Right. Yeah.
And the thing is, the polls are interesting, right? And one thing that people always forget about polls is that polls are stated preferences, but they aren't revealed preferences. So even if 3 in 10 men in Georgia are like, yeah, no, I'm voting for Kamala, are they actually going to go and do that? Or are they just saying my preference would be for Kamala? So, yeah, I mean, if you're going to give me the choice, Trump or Kamala, I guess Kamala, but, I hate them both or something, Are they marching in the streets to go to Kamala rallies? Are they going to be front and centre, first thing in the line on election day? Possibly not.
It could well be that they're being asked in the street and they're in the presence of their woke girlfriend or boomer parents.
Yeah.
And they have to go, oh, yeah, or Kamala.
Just being asked, even though it's not really something that's that much on their mind.
People lie on polls all the time. All the time. Okay, if we go to the next link. In Pennsylvania, is this the one?
Yeah. Pennsylvania.
The mail-in. Oh, before we go on, you mentioned in the last one about voter ID. Obviously, there should be voter ID, and there shouldn't really be any mail-in ballots, I don't think. Never. Hardly ever. Maybe in very, very, very special circumstances where you've been fully vetted, that you're highly disabled and cannot get to the ballot box, the voting booth on the day. Okay, and that will be a very small number of people. Other than that,
there's a saying
should be no mail-in voting.
There's a saying that says democracy is the political system of those who are present.
Yeah.
If you don't show up, you don't get to decide.
It should be anyway. I mean,
if you really physically can't make it on the day, then okay. But still put something else in place to vote on the day, though.
No, but it's like calling
some other
an assembly.
process.
It's calling an assembly.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's not it's just, by the way, there's an election tomorrow. It's like, oh, is that? I didn't know. No, it's everywhere all the time. You can't turn on the bloody TV. You can't look at the phone. You can't look at social media. It happens every 4 years on the same day. Come on now. There's no excuse.
So assuming there isn't going to be some sort of giant, what's the word we're allowed to use for it?
Fortification?
Fortification, yeah. As long as there's not giant fortification.
Well, they would have to be fortifying like demons to beat these kind of odds.
The trend looks like... The trend looks like... And that's also another important swing state.
That's very important.
So... We'll see how that goes. But Kamala has got a legion of celebrity backers.
Yep.
Why did he do this?
Well-known, renowned political theorist Samuel Jackson, we all know is steeped in political philosophy, has come out in favour of Kamala.
So many modules on my degree were about Samuel L. Jackson's theories.
Yeah.
The Jacksonian Democrat or something.
The thought of SLJ.
Yeah, he
reminds a whole strand.
Yeah, it's like the evil dude from The Kingsman.
You watch loads of films I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's quite a good actor, but beyond that,
look at this,
an idiot.
By the way, here's a rude word that Kamala Harris likes that I've also said. Vote for her.
Yeah.
Are you mad?
Actually, his point is completely wrong. He was saying she says the MF word.
Yeah.
That's her go-to curse word. Now, that's a president I can trust and get behind and believe in. I'm paraphrasing slightly. That's not verbatim. It's like, no, not really.
You don't really want the president swearing excessively.
Yeah, it's probably not ideal, is it?
No, not ideal. No, that's correct.
No, that's like, no. So he's just wrong and an idiot. Oh, Lizzo says the whole of America will be like Detroit, which is a good thing.
That reminds me.
Is that a threat or a promise?
Yeah, right. My whole life, Detroit
Jesus.
has been shorthand for a dump.
Yeah, failure.
Detroit people out there can take me to task on that one. When I was a kid,
wow.
I remember when I was a kid watching RoboCop.
We should be more sympathetic to the refugees from Detroit, I think.
RoboCop is set in Detroit.
Yeah.
And back then, it was...
Not great, but it's so much worse now.
Yeah.
Like we looked this up the other day. The property
Terrible.
prices are unbelievably low because of the kind of place that it is. But Lizzo honestly said if Kamala wins, then the whole country will look like Detroit.
That's what she's saying, yeah.
Can we play it?
And it's a good... Yeah, play it. Yeah, it's only like 10, 15 seconds or something. It's, you
I'm
can't
so
believe
proud to be from this city.
Why?
You know, they say if Kamala wins, then the whole country will be like Detroit.
Jesus Christ. I mean, if I were Trump, I would put that on an advert and put it on every billboard in the entire United States. I would want everyone in America to hear this. No, if Kamala wins, the whole country is going to look like Detroit. That's the endorsement.
That's
Be aware.
Again, the titanic intellect of Lizzo.
Yeah.
Lizonian Democrat.
yeah.
You know, it's a different variant.
Lizonian
Yeah.
politics.
Playing was Madison's or whoever's crystal flute and being like, yeah, so all the country's going to look like Detroit. Here's the cell.
Yeah, getting inspired by Scary Movie 4.
Jesus.
Where they show the tripod attack on Detroit and they say this is Detroit and this is Detroit after the attack. And it's the exact same thing.
Yeah. Detroit is like a dystopian hellscape. No, that would be terrible. So again, it's the classic thing of sort of double speak, double think. Just the absolute opposite of what's true. Brazenly lying.
She wants it that way.
Gaslighting you to make you think Detroit is a great thing.
Well, no, I mean, I mean, for them maybe, but for me, definitely not. And I think for most Americans, they're just like, oh, God, you know. Just, is that what you want?
Another son of Detroit, who is also steeped in political theory, is Marshall Mathers.
Yes, he is.
AKA Eminem. So there he is, stumping for Kamala and the Democrats.
Because she's going to protect free speech.
Yeah, again, just the complete opposite of reality.
I mean, most hip hop artists would have a problem with hate speech laws.
To be fair, though.
Can you imagine DMX with hate speech laws?
To be fair, though, I mean, given the lack of, legal oversight that Detroit probably has, there's probably a lot of free speech in Detroit. But there's probably very few people actually policing speech. So, I mean, it's got a point.
I thought Eminem rapped about that the SEC won't let him be. And he's, I think that's one of his...
Possibly.
One of his rhymes.
I've always disliked Eminem's music. Always disliked it. Yeah, I remember when he first came out and he was really big and everyone loved him. I'm like, this is crap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind some of his songs, but I do find rapping and the ability to rhyme as not a very important skill in life.
I just want to say we're not against poetry generally, are we?
Right.
I'm just against Eminem. I'm not against the entire discipline.
But usually, in my education, you teach a small child how to rhyme.
Do we need to teach it?
I think they do it a bit,
it's something
fast. I mean, I can't do it that fast.
I'm sure there's a skill.
Oh yeah, to do it really fast is a skill.
Yeah.
Whether it's of any real value. I mean, obviously it made him a millionaire, but I mean of true value.
Do you not remember when he was beefing with Trump in 2016?
He's got Trump derangement syndrome.
He's had Trump
real bad
syndrome for years.
Real bad. In fact, go to the next link and play it. Play the first. We only need to watch the first 30 seconds or so.
I get too flustered in my head, and the shit that I want to say, there's too many things I want to say at once. So sometimes I start talking and I'm not able to convey the message the right way because I just get flustered and frustrated. Watching him play to his base that thinks that he cares about them.
Anyway, you get it. You don't need to hear him anymore.
Isn't he like 50 years old?
He's got to be knocking that, I would have thought. Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, once again,
Why is he dressed like a teenager?
Yeah. Well, his politics have always been, that of
The Dems,
that of the ghetto.
the Detroit.
Backward. Yeah.
Just, I can't believe the whole country will look like Detroit. Jesus Christ, don't say that.
Why are you
Eminem.
clapping?
Eminem. You listen to what Eminem's got to say about international policy and stuff. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Eminem, well-renowned economist.
What do we do about the war in Ukraine, Marshall?
Yeah. Yeah, well, what are your suggestions for sort of the great game to defeat Russia in Central Asia, Marshall?
I mean,
any ideas?
There are so many things. What about the border crisis? Anyway, the economy. Let's talk about the national debt. You know, I'm sure he's got some great...
What is the nature of freedom, Marshall?
I think Harris should have a meeting with lots of hip-hop artists headed by DMX trying to find where the hood at. They wouldn't be able to find it.
Yeah, I bet there are probably a few of them. So right in the middle of the segment, we have to shield some merch.
Yeah,
because that's when people are most likely to see it. So we've got a merch store.
I love here's the man behind the curtain says.
Oh,
says Bo.
Yeah, well, I like to be honest. I'm nothing if not honest.
Very elegant.
Buy a mug, buy a T-shirt.
Yeah, it's how we keep the lights on because of course it's been demonetised everywhere.
It is, and Islander magazine. Oh no, you can't buy one at the moment. Get the third one though in a few weeks or a couple of months. And we're doing a really long stream all night on the night of the 5th to the 6th of November, from midnight till 8 a.m. our time.
When all the ballots come in, wink, wink.
Yeah. Hopefully we won't see too much fortification in real time. Putting up blinds over. So this is Eminem. This is the person he is, i.e. a weirdo and a freak and an idiot, right? An actual idiot. Yeah, he can rhyme some words and say them very fast. Well done.
That's immoral. And why are they?
It's mental. It's mental.
Yeah, but that's the message they want to have. That's why they capitalize.
For anyone who's only listening, a quote from Eminem is, "Being white is so embarrassing. I want to kill myself." Well, no one's stopping you, mate.
But don't kill yourself.
Yeah, but don't. Yeah, no, don't do that.
Even if you're Eminem, don't kill yourself.
Yeah, best not do that. But just what a weirdo.
Well, I mean,
get him up on the stage.
To be honest,
listen to him on serious political discussion.
All of these celebrities are real fruitcakes. Like they're all weird. None of them are normal. You don't need to have their opinion on anything because they think very strange and perverse things. End of story.
Yeah, you have to sell your soul to the devil in some way.
Yeah. They become weirdo.
Also, Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney came out for pro-Kamala. Mainly, I think, because she does whatever neocons will tell her to do. Go to war with this country, do this or that insane, disgusting thing that causes loads of human misery. And she'll just say, yeah, okay, I'll do that then. Again, so Dick Cheney's on board.
Don't tell everyone that Dick Cheney's endorsing me. You know, that's get the last person that you want. It's just unfathomable that the Democrats would be thrilled with Dick Cheney's endorsement.
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
It's just baffling, but okay.
So again, for anyone who's only listening and not watching, there's a tweet here from someone saying, in the 70s, Dick Cheney is a war criminal. 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010, Dick Cheney is a war criminal. But now, in 2024, because he's endorsed Kamala, Dick Cheney is now a good guy.
Yeah.
Say CNN.
It's CBS. how
CBS.
I mean, from about 2001 onwards, Dick Cheney was honestly synonymous with kind of Satan to the Democrats. So the fact that they're just like, yeah, hey, we've got Satan's endorsement. Well, of course they are. Dick Cheney's going to help us turn America into Detroit. Oh, brilliant.
She was also one of the least popular Republicans within the party, and like Kamala Harris, because she is also one of the least popular Democrats.
Yes.
Well, everyone knows that Dick Cheney was sort of the eminence grise behind George Bush Jr.'s throne.
Yes.
He was pulling. It was his whole thing.
Yeah,
Iraq and Afghanistan and the Axis of Evil and the Patriot Act and on and on and on and some other things which are just simply not allowed to say without getting cancelled. So I think he's a disgusting, evil human being. Yeah, happy to say that. But now he's a good guy because he endorsed Kamala. How did she pass the bar?
I have no idea.
How is that possible?
I hate to do this though, but in the interest of time.
Right, yeah, well...
Move on.
Yeah, we can just move on. I had a few links. I mean, maybe play one or two of these links.
Well, I am certainly not perfect. So
She's asked what her weaknesses are.
And
this is what she says.
I think that perhaps a weakness, some would say, but I actually think it's a strength, is I really do value having a team of very smart people around me who bring to my decision-making process different perspectives.
My weakness is my advisors are too clever. They're too wise, Stelios. That's my weakness as well.
She's playing like a 4D chess game, pretending to be dumber than she is. That doesn't make any sense on the face of it, but I honestly don't see it.
Maybe not.
This is someone struggling to.
Look, I'm not gonna commit to it.
Okay, all right.
I was just speculating, but then, yeah, that is really dumb.
Play a little bit of the next one. Again, you only need a few seconds.
Ask you this. You told many interviewers that Joe Biden was on his game, that ran around circles on his staff. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Joe Biden, I have watched from the Oval Office to the Situation Room, and he has the judgment and the experience to do exactly what he has done in making very important decisions on behalf of the American people.
There were no concerns raised?
Brett, Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
I understand.
And Donald Trump
but
is.
You talked about it.
And Donald Trump
after
is.
George Clooney said within a few minutes.
She's really dumb. I mean, it's weird, isn't it, that you go from someone like Joe Biden, who, I mean, once upon a time, back in the 70s, I didn't ever agree with his politics, but he was a force to be reckoned with. If you see clips from him,
he's not.
Right.
He's evil.
Right. So to go from that and say, what's worse than this dementia-ridden, sort of decrepit thing? I think this is sort of worse. I mean, she's dumber than George Bush. George Bush Jr., I mean, he was famously dumb.
Yeah. But he
wasn't. Yeah, he was kind of likable. Yeah. But he could actually, from time to time, he could actually string together an argument.
Yeah, like
I see people try to outfox him in an interview, and he would sometimes, in fact often, hold his own in a kind of dumb, shallow way. And she's not even doing that.
People forget that he arranged a peace negotiation between man and fish, which was incredible. There's a great quote of George Bush, and he comes out and says, "I believe that man and fish can coexist peacefully." It's just like...
There's loads of quotes from George Bush Jr. that are hilarious.
He was a moron.
But he was still... He was sort of at the lower end of moronic. She's off the charts, in my opinion. Like, it's just word salad. I don't think she's capable of engaging with complex arguments at all.
To be honest, I think she was mostly trying to dodge these questions because, give me one of your weaknesses is like, get some broke, hang yourself. So she tried to dodge that bullet.
Well, it's an interview question. And
give me one reason why I shouldn't hire you. That's
all she's got, it seems to me, is non sequiturs and word salad. That's all she's got. So, okay, I was going to talk a bit about Trump, but there's no need to really, other than that, Newsweek just says that young people, we'll just see the headline, young people are going for Trump a bit.
Trump being like, hey, guys, you know the American stuff you do because I'm an American, let's be Americans together. And young people are like, yeah, not bad. Trump's like, yeah, I'm not going to turn the country into Detroit. I like the cut of this guy's jib.
But also just the general state of the state of the debate, and this isn't a specific pop at the United States. We've got exactly the same thing in the UK. But if you go to the next link, it's news that Lady Gaga's dad has chimed in on it.
Oh,
Lady Gaga's dad.
I was undecided until now.
I really need to know what Ja Rule and Lady Gaga's dad think. Before I can make up my mind. Okay, we'll leave it there because I've maybe gone a little bit over, but
it's fine.
Yeah, fingers crossed for the Donald.
I just can't believe they would honestly say, yeah, we're going to turn all of America into Detroit. I'd be like, that's the worst selling point I've ever heard.
Yeah, what a mad thing.
Yeah, I mean, if they were like, we're going to turn all of America into Vermont, I'd be like, okay, I'm listening, What's the crime rate in Vermont? What's home ownership in Vermont? Probably quite high and low and then high respectively. But just sounds like a threat.
It does.
We're here to ruin you.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
I think maybe she would like to think that most people just don't know anything, never heard of what Detroit is actually like. Or that in her mind it's some sort of multicultural
It's a triumph of diversity.
I hope you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, and if you want to see what else we're up to, you can watch our series Lads Hour, where we tend to have the most fun. This one was on about Batman and Robin, the 1997 film, and it was hilarious. And if you want to see all the other things we're putting out, you can always follow us on Twitter. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.